Okay, so I've just got some brown, sap green, blue, and a bit of black basically, so that I can make a really good dark mixture. I want to put water in with that so it's quite runny, quite thin, and not thin like ink. It's like when you're using the oil paints and you want to thin the paints, you want it to be thin like ink so that it runs smoothly on the canvas when you apply it. So just run it through there and get a sharp point on the brush, and then just up in here I wanted to bring a few branches through. Just going to do it like so at first, and then I can come back in. One of the good things about acrylics is that you can allow it to, you can rest it basically. You can rest your hand on it without it damaging it, because it obviously dries. And in alla prima oil painting you can't get away with that. So I just want a little entangled bunch of sticks and twigs going on. Up in here this is a bit of a fatter one, a bit more chunky. And that's coming down in here. It's there. Always make it slightly wider at the base and it is higher up. It's my rule of thumb. That's the way it usually is in nature. You'll always get something to contradict that, but usually that's what you get. So I'll just get a few of them up in there. There'll be some that come off and branch off a bit, some small stuff. Keep the brush moving when you're doing sticks and twigs. These are in silhouette more or less, are these. See that? Just up into there. Little stuff going on up in there too. All little branches coming off. Some smaller, some bigger, some really small ones as well. And you see how I've left gaps in between, because I'm going to go back in again and put some highlighted leaves in between there. So I'm not too concerned about that at the moment. Give it a wiggle every now and again. You get them lovely natural looking branches by doing that. Just give it a wiggle. Shake that booty. Right. Maybe the branch down to there. Like I said, this side's not going to hardly have any highlights on it, just a few little glimmers here and there. This side is going to be highlighted all on the right hand side of them trees in there. There's a lot of little branches coming through that, a lot of little branches. Now, I know that I still want a few little ones coming off of this, just over in there. Oh, that's a good one. I like them little ones that hang over and give you the little hanging down branches, give your trees character, make them look natural. Starting to get some nice effects in there. So I love it when we start getting to this stage where you're doing all the little details and stuff. It's all the icing on the cake. There we go. A little bit of that down there. You notice where I've put the leaves is where I'm attaching the branches. So that one, little branches going down there. More pigment. A little paint on the brush. And that's holding that up. Just up in here I can put a few more little ones in. Also, another one, thinner one, just coming in around here. You can sometimes do it by going in that direction, which I've just done that time. Other times you can start at the base and work your way up from the base, just like so, ensuring that it's slightly bigger at the base than it is higher up. Thicker down in here. Pretty much always. See some stuff still going in there as well, so put a few little indications, but it's going to be thick in there, very thick with leaves. And then off of that, just let it snuck come up into there. See, as long as I said there wasn't going to be much of this sky still showing through. That's what I meant, because there's a lot of these branches and stuff going on in there, just covering a lot of that sky up. Now we have still got a few coming over from this side into there, but I've got to work on them yet, because these are going to be highlighted, you see. The main thing is, like, they're nice and dark. This one still needs another little coat, like a coat of paint just there. That's it. That's cool. Just down in here, I'm going to put a few, mix a bit more paint up. Again, keep adding the water to it too. It's important. And then just up in there, put that trunk, we'll fill up into there. Good. Again, this is more or less just dark. Keep nudging tripod, I'm sorry about that, but I want you to get quite a close-up view of this. You can actually adjust it slightly for you, just down into there, so you can see what I'm doing now a little bit better. Some nice branches, as I say, just in there. You go over them, you'd have to just do them once. If it don't come out as dark as you want it, go over it again. But they're more or less in silhouette of these. Maybe a tiny few highlights here and there, which I do put on them. Now, just just up in here I want a central trunk for that. Slightly bigger at the base again. And then just a few little branches and stuff holding them leaves up. I'm happy with a few little bits and bobs of stuff that's going on in there too. Now a lot of this will sit down as soon as I start putting some more highlighted leaves and darker leaves over the top of this. Obviously at the moment it's very dark and there's no leaves in between or above, so that'll make a big difference with that. As I was saying, I don't aim with acrylics to get it in one pass. Sometimes it takes 2 or 3 passes to get it looking how I want it to look. But we're getting there now. Crowded woodland is the aim. Now I'll just put that brush in there, give it a quick clean, and I'm going to use a little bit of sap green. And some of the colour we've just used, so sap green into that browny colour, a little bit of the blue and a little bit of black. Just want a really dark green basically for this stage. And this is a good brush for the stippling of the leaves. It's the Terry Harrison acrylic brush that I talked about before, and it really works really well. You can even cover quite a bit more of that up there. Now just over his area it gets quite dark, the tops of trees just coming in up into there, so I'm just going to do that darker at the top. Leave a few of the highlights showing through still. And then just in some areas in here, I want that to darken off as well, just in a few areas. You'll notice here and there I've put some highlights with white. They'll help create a nice bright effect with the lighter colours around. It's a dark woodland, but I want it to look like the light's coming into it, hitting this path as well, so I'll probably put a few little rays of sunshine coming through also into there. Quite a close canopy, just a few bits of sunlight getting through. And then I'll bring a few more highlights into it next, let it dry, bring a few more highlights into that, and then just down here, got a couple of people on this little pathway having a nice woodland walk. I've just zoomed in a little bit for you so that you can see these sketches that I've done of a couple of people who are going to be walking away from us along this pathway. They're going to be more or less in silhouette, maybe a little bit of light glowing around the heads a tiny bit, but just wanted to show you that. Alright, so I've just got this man and woman to paint in now. So for that I'm just going to use a nice dark colour just up in here. It's the walking away from us, so you're You're only seeing back of the heads basically. Will be darker than that eventually. I'll just put some of that same colour just down into here. Just in there. I'm just going to apply some of this dark colour. Staying inside the lines. You don't always have to follow the lines exactly, because I can alter that really easily. Do them in the dark first, and then I can apply hints of colour. Some little hints here and there of different colours. Like, I'm going to have some like grey coloured pants on. Block that in. So that's just basic. I wanted to have grey pants though, so I've mixed up a colour which is a bit more white added to it. And just with that, I'm going to put some in. It's not dark enough. Something about like that. I can make it, I want to make it darker than that eventually. I just do it like that for now, for the second. Definitely do it darker still. I'm just blocking in at the moment, blocking in some of these colours so that I can see. She's wearing quite a long coat, you see there. And these will get darker too. There. So I like it. Bit of movement going on. They are walking down this pathway. Nice. Autumn walk. End of autumn, beginning of autumn, sorry. Everything's just ready to start changing colour. Just leave it at that for this minute. I'll cut my head and put some dark in for this guy. There's a bit of light just glowing around the tops of the heads and a little bit of the shoulder, so I'm not going quite as far as I want, knowing that I want to put that in. Just block that in there. Block that in nicely. Fine point there for his hand. Then we'll bring it in. So I'm just thinking about doing like a silhouette at the moment. It's going to look just like a silhouette until we've let that dry. Give it one more coat, and then we can start putting some colour tones and details in. It's not details as such because they're quite far away, but just a few little nice indications here and there. That's where his coat's going to finish. I'm going to give him some brown pants. Don't want it too watery when you're doing this. You need a bit of thicker paint with it too when you're doing detailed work. I'm just using a tiny little brush to do this. Some brown tweed pants on or something, this guy. So I'll put the lighter brown in first, you see. Oop. Put the lighter brown in, and then I can make it darker later. Something about like that. A little bit more dark. Just up in here, now it's starting to dry. I'll probably leave that to dry properly before trying to go back into it again actually. Might get what we're doing. Going back into the head area. Yeah, that's where it's. Just want to wipe a bit of that out. Went a little bit OTT. Suddenly ended up with a big head. See how easy it is to correct though. See, real time. You see me making the mistakes, and then you learn how to correct them. Just basic and simple. It's a matter of pulling it out with your finger like I just did, quickly before it's a chance to set, and then you can paint it back in just like that, no problem. Right, I'm happy to leave that for now at that stage. So I'm just going to put a little shadow behind them, just in here. Both of them are going to have a little shadow, just popping in about there, right under the feet. She's got a shadow that comes out a bit further, just in there. Just an indication of some dark for that shadow. It's all like this. I'll let that dry now, and I'm just going to go to the fan brush. Got my little fan brush. I'm going to use some of the brown, which is a burnt umber, this brown colour, a little bit of the red, which is a vermilion red. Tap, you get a bit of white, a little bit of white into that. Let's have a look at that. Just up in here, I'm going to start seeing some leaves on the floor. I need to open the bristles up a little bit more. So just tapping a bit harder on the corner. Therefore that'll open the bristles there. That's better. It'll open the bristles up a little bit more for me. Just up in there. I can put some yellows in here as well. A very subtle effect. I have a lot of leaves, so I tend to put them down a bit darker at first than I want them to be, and then put highlighted ones over the top of that. Leave a few areas of white though, where the sunlight's blasting through there. There's a bit more sunlight coming in the centre area just in here, so I'll just chill out with that and put some of that colour in just here. Make it a bit lighter. I want a bit more white into that. So look at that, that's better. A few little areas going on up in there, and it just dissolves into this light colour in there. A little bit of that under their feet too. Now with this lighter tone I can go back over that slightly. I'll be doing some nice palette work as well with a palette knife for this. I like to use it for acrylics. More so than I do for oils, to be honest. I'm going to hopefully investigate a lot more using the palette knife for painting, because you can get some wonderful effects. You really can. So just got some leaf debris all over that pathway. Good. Bit of the darker colour just in here. Well, we can have a few shadows just popping in. See that? Just a few little shadows going on. Leave a lot of light areas so for where we're going to have the dappled light coming through. For instance, just in there, I'm going to pull a line across, leave a light area, leave a few more little areas just in here, put leaves around that. Then we've got a big pool of light that just comes down into there. Just going to leave these areas out. Big pool of light just into that spot there. Also, you start to run out of paint, which means you can come back up in here and do some more lighter stuff. A lot of this darker colours are going to be coming into this a bit anyway, so then I'll be darkening off a lot of these shadows with some dark tones. Some of the lavender colours like we've got in the background, but a bit darker, more like this one. Just up in here. See, they're already starting to look better now they've dried. And then I can put a little halo, a little bit of light shining on top of them, and that will really be a nice effect for this, because that's the idea of all the sides being so dark. There you can see a little bit better now. The two people just walking down the pathway and that. Just wanted to show you these branches that I've done up here. I've highlighted both sides to make them look 3D. Can you see the effect? Now on this tree to the left of us here, I will be, the one to the left of us, I will be showing you how to do this on that tree so that you can get to see exactly how I do it and how you make it look really nice and 3D so they don't look flat. So I'm just putting some dark shadows in on this pathway, and the shadows I'm putting in are really needed, because what it does is it gives you the pools of light and the contrast that you need to make them stand out enough. So I'm just putting in some darks with the fan brush, using black, burnt umber and a bit of red for this. Now there's a big pool of light just in there, so I'm going to leave all that lit up just in there, and it goes to a taper. So I'm painting the dark around it basically. around where I want the light to be. Now you can always reintegrate some pools of light if you lose too much of it. By just using titanium white is no problem with that at all. Easy fix. It's going to be good and dark down in there anyway. Bushes and a few bushes and stuff just in the foreground there. I want it good and dark though, on the edges especially. This is going to have some little like brambles and stuff in front of it, and I'm going to make this tree much different to what it is. Miles more different than what it is. That was just a guide for where I wanted the tree to be, so that'll look totally different when I'm done. It's going to be a centerpiece tree. Show you how to paint effective looking bark, like these ones I've done up here. They're like beech trees or something like that with a smooth bark. I'm going to do one over here which is a bit more like an evergreen tree, which has a ribbed bark. This is going to be an old tree, gnarly, with a big fat trunk. That's the aim, that's the idea. Now I've lost a bit of that just up in there. There's some light as well, so it shows how careful you've got to be, but like I said, I'm not too worried. I can just reintegrate it in there, no problem. It just saved you having to do that if you don't do what I just did and overdo it. It's so easy to do, you get so into it, it's so much fun. You forget how much stuff you've put into it, and you overdo it. It gets fun, it's working well, and then you spoil it. So I'm happy with how it's going with the darks. I have some more bushes in here and stuff anyway, just these are going to come further out into the pathway. And also over here, we're going to have this path coming from this direction, round and swirling round if you like. So there'll be bushes here coming out into the pathway, and then these are going to come out a little bit further just into there. And I'm going to also paint some highlighted just to show you slight. I'll be doing it with a different brush, but with the lighter colours on there to just paint indications of leaves where it's dark. Just like so, just a few little indications. Few little indications of leaves. Better off letting it dry first, so if you let it dry you'll find that it'll go over the top better. Just